Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gurnet Report. Today we have pop icon, London's own GIRLI.
Hello, it's wonderful to be here.
GIRLI, thank you for being here. Thank you for being in New York. I know we just met, but I have to admit something to you. I actually lived in Putney for 3 years, and I have something very important to ask you. Who do you think wins? New York 3 a.m. drunk food or London 3 a.m. drunk food?
New York wins. New York wins every time when it comes to food. Yeah. Honestly, like the culinary experiences I've had in New York are like the best, some of the best I've ever had in my life. I would say that London definitely wins when it comes to like a Sunday roast, for
Right.
example, or a good cup of tea. But New York, for 3 a.m. drunk food, New York.
Yeah, nothing's better than pizza and regret at 3 a.m. I gotta say, some of my finest moments. Speaking of London, however, I heard that you draw a lot of inspiration from your sound from the London nightlife scene, and I was wondering, what do you think makes that scene so unique?
Yeah, I mean, like definitely some like a lot of my earlier music when I was less of a 10:30 p.m. bedtime kind of vibe, because it's funny, I have a song called Mr. 10 p.m. Bedtime from like, I think that came out maybe 8 years ago, and that was all about like, oh come on, like why do you go to sleep so early, like have some fun. And now I am Mr. 10 p.m. Bedtime. I love an early bed, I love an early morning, but I think London nightlife and just like what London does community really well, like there's just so many amazing like club nights and also like, sober events too. I mean, like I love going to like queer line dancing a lot, and then there's so like I love going to like really fun like dress up events, and I love going to just the most random stuff. You'll find any kind of fun thing, especially the queer nightlife as well. London does rule.
So, speaking of your sound, I really like it how your sound jumps between pop, like punk, like rap, also hyperpop, and I'm wondering, like, what's your approach to blending together all those styles?
I think for me, like sonically, I grew up listening to so much different music. I grew up listening to a lot of like, my mum loved Blondie and Bowie and, a lot of 70s like rock and punk. But then also I loved like really like current pop music of the time, like 2010s pop music in the UK. It was like, and I listened to a lot of really amazing lyricists like Lily Allen and Arctic Monkeys and MIA. And I think there's always just been a fusion of influences for me. So I feel like each album kind of has its own like hyperfixation sonically. Like my last album, Matriarchy, was very, very pop. And I'd say this next album is a little bit more like indie rock pop kind of vibe. Yeah.
Cool. I like it that you describe it as like different hyperfixations. Like that's like kind of like certain vibe that you're feeling and like you want to keep going with it. That's really cool. So speaking of influences and styles, I have to say your visual style is like very iconic. Like of course like the neon hair, but also kind of like the punk influences and street fashion. And I was just wondering like, how do you go about like deciding how do you want to like visually express yourself for each of your eras?
I think it's really it's hard because I feel like there is pressure now, especially because like the amount of music and art out there is very saturated, which I don't think is a bad thing, because I think the world needs more art always, and I think everyone is creative, so that's incredible. But I definitely think, there's this pressure as an artist for every new album or project or, whatever your art form is, to like have a completely new identity. And I definitely think also that pressure is especially potent for like female artists as well, more than male artists, I would say, to have like a complete reinvention of yourself every project. And I think I sort of just really try and like just think, okay, what am I enjoying visually now, and like not force this kind of like, if it happens and it's natural one album comes out and then the next album comes out 3 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously you change so much in that time frame, so it's natural that if it naturally happens that you just like your fashion feels different and your visuals as a person and an artist feel different, then good. But I try not to like force it too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for this album, I mean, I'm not wearing one right now because it is brick ass cold, but for this album I've been wearing a lot of slogan t-shirts. That's been like a vibe. I've been really enjoying, and like the album artwork, I'm wearing a slogan tee, and like for the tour I'm going to wear different slogan t-shirts on every show. That's kind of been like a fun theme because kind of ties in with like the political vibe of the music. So yeah, I'd say that's the fashion era of this album.
Yeah, no, literally, it's the theme of like the slogan of like something catchy, like slap on my wrist, right? Like basically, I like that song a lot because it's like really catchy. It's like you could just like listen to it, like you just like put it on, like not even know what the lyrics are about. But if you do look at the lyrics, it's like very deep. It's like true. It's like real. And that reminds me of some artists. They use pop art to show like very disturbing things, but when you first look at it, you don't know what you're looking at. It's like, oh, that's pop art, that's American consumerism. But then it's like, it's the irony that in something so simple could be hidden something so deep. So I actually appreciate that a lot about Slap on My Wrist, and a lot of the other ones are kind of the same thing, and also shows up in your fashion with slogan tees. So I want to see one of those.
I have a little slogan. I mean, this is kind of a slogan. I've got Lady Die for Trans Rights, which is Princess Diana, may she rest in peace. I just feel like she was a big advocate during the HIV, like the AIDS crisis. She was like one of the first and only celebrities to like hold the hands of like AIDS patients, to show like, to fight the stigma of like, oh, it's transferable. She was like, no, it's not. Like, these people are human. And I just feel like if she was still alive today, she would absolutely support the dolls. She'd protect the dolls. She'd be for trans rights. So this is the slogan. It's on a badge today.
Rest in peace, Princess Diana. What would you say is the most surprising reaction from your fans to your music?
Wow. I mean, I suppose like I'm always surprised, but like so pleasantly surprised when people just like hear my music and the way that they react in the comments or when they meet me at shows, or it's just to be like so brave and honest about their own experiences, especially with songs like Slap on the Wrist, which is, you know, about like a topic that's about like really traumatic things happening to people, and the amount of people who are so like open about their own stories. And it always just really pleasantly surprises me that, you know, people will listen to my music and be like, oh, that makes me want to share, and like that makes me feel validated and supported, and that like that's so special to me.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah. It's important. Well, I guess like while we're on that subject, basically as someone who hasn't lived like what it's like to live as a woman, I wonder like what do you wish more men understood when they listen to your music?
I think I would love like when men are listening to my music to realize like just because I haven't experienced this thing like doesn't mean that I can't like try to understand it and like be, you know, like a support and be like a voice, a loud voice. You know, it's the same as, you know, anyone with privilege. Like, you know, for me as a white person, I'm like, I know it's important for me to use my privilege and my voice to speak up for people of color and when they're facing oppression. And, you know, same with like straight allies supporting queer people. And, you know, and I think actually if more men were on board with the idea that feminism is beneficial for like everyone, it's not trying to like put them down, it's trying to like just make everyone like, you know, the patriarchy system like ruins everyone's lives, men's included, you know, because there's like those systems are so oppressive for everyone in different ways. And I would love that.
Okay, so new album's coming out. It's very exciting, and I was wondering, as my final question, What do you think is like different this time around, like as compared to like the previous releases?
I think with this release, from the start of writing the album, which was the start of 2025, I tried to be really like transparent and open about the writing process, and I was like vlogging the whole thing. And then now the album's been announced and it's coming out in a few months, I've been really like transparent about how, okay, like I'm posting vlogs every day about how I want to try and get it in like the UK charts, and like this is the reality about, you know, streaming versus pre-ordering albums. And I feel like I'm just being really open and like transparent with my fans about the whole process and what kind of is like goes into an album release, like from making it to putting it out and touring. And I've kind of just enjoyed that level of like authenticity with my fans, just being like rejecting the whole like mysterious vibe of like, ooh, what's going on, and just being like, this is what's going on. I've enjoyed that.
That's awesome. And Girly, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us in New York City. And I'm really excited for the new album. I'm really excited for everything you have going on. And honestly, yeah, thank you for meeting me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.